In my practice, I see it all when it comes to what goes around and comes around as I sit with 20 to 30 savers each week, savers who are retired or nearing retirement, as we discuss together the change in plans that they share with me and why they come to Tony Walker Financial in the first place. Because they know our vast experience in the art of retirement planning and how many savers we help on a regular basis deal with the changes that will eventually come their way is who they need to be talking to. One thing that keeps me working so hard is the daily work of hearing of the worries my clients face of these changes and then being able to help them think through both personally and financially how best to deal with them. Of course, many of these changes revolve around family issues as we all age and the financial decisions one must make or not make to address the changes we face. In fact, just yesterday, while meeting with a new prospective couple who is looking to retire in the next year or so, our conversation turned to things they are doing for their family and goals for the future. The husband said, "Funny you should ask that, but we are now housing our adult son who just got laid off from a job. They're housing them," he said, "in the same garage apartment that they had built for his wife's mother years ago who had recently passed away." Intrigued, I asked him to tell me more, and he said, "Well, years ago, my wife's mother was in a house that was way too big for her and had way too many steps. So we decided, since we had the land and the money, to do it, to build a nice detached garage adjacent to her home, and then had this huge finished apartment placed above it so that she could live there with us until her passing. Then, all of a sudden, out of the blue, here comes our son losing his job, so we thought, hey, why not let him stay in this same apartment? So yeah, the plans we had for the future were different than we planned, but as the gentleman went on to say, it was nice to be able to do something for our family that we enjoyed doing." And folks, isn't that the point? I mean, assuming you do have family members who might need your help, and assuming you have the money, the living quarters, or maybe the mental wherewithal to help them, why not help them? I mean, really, what else are you going to do with all this money you have saved for the future? Interesting that the Bible addresses the concept of helping family members in times of need. Check it out in 1 Timothy 5:8, where the Bible teaches that family is indeed supposed to take care of family, and to not do so is one of the gravest sins of all. But what about those who don't have family around? Take a widow or an orphan. Where can they turn for help? In 1 Timothy 5:16, it says that widows should be helping widows so that the church is not burdened. If those widows have no one else to help them, then we go to James 1:27, which explains that it becomes the church's responsibility to step in and help the widows. But what if the widow has no other widows, nor has a church, nor has a family who can help them in their time of grief and need? What are they supposed to do? Well, if you keep reading in Luke 2:37, it reminds widows, many of whom I meet on a regular basis in my work, who have no family around, that they should also be relying on the church for help as well and not feel ashamed to do so. But again, let's assume that widow doesn't have family or doesn't have a church, or worse yet, as one widow recently shared with me, even at church, she feels like she's being treated now since she lost her husband like she's got the plague. What does he or she have in the way of being comforted during their time of grief? Well, again, Luke 2:37 reminds those widows to never give up on the Lord, to continually seek Him through prayer. And it's a reminder to all of us in our time of loneliness or grief that when others, yes, even the church, are not around to help us, God is. That's because by faith we know that with Jesus Christ at our side, no matter the loss, no matter the loneliness, no matter the uncertainty of the future, we shall never lose the opportunity to turn to Him for help in our time of need. Years ago, I created this hierarchy of service and who to focus on as a way of reminder that I only have so much energy to go around. And while I'm here, I want to make sure my priorities are straight while serving others. It looks something like this, and it is something I remind myself of daily as I set out to do my best to serve the needs of others. So as we think about the changes that could be in your life right now, serious changes resulting in a feeling of loneliness or lostness, maybe the loss of a spouse, a child, no church to call home, or maybe the struggles of life have got you so far away from the Lord, you assume He's never going to take you back. Well, if that's your situation right now, might I remind you of the family of God and the family He has created like none other, as described in Matthew 12:48 and 49. We see this when Jesus is questioned about spending more time with His immediate family and His response, where He says, "Who is my mother and who are my brothers?" He then points to His disciples and says, "These are my true family." And that's you, Christian. No matter what might have happened to your family here on earth, to those you loved and cherished, you can be assured that by faith, you are part of God's family. A family that we shall enjoy not just while we're here on earth, but for eternity when we are called home to be in our true home in heaven. Amen?
Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed that video. If you'd like, check out these other clips. And be sure to hit that like button and that subscribe button for more videos.